cutting through the political rhetoric like a machete through the jungle, clearing you a path to understanding what politicians really mean. That's the point of our new Arizona Vote segment, comparing the candidates.
Now, this is a chance for you to hear from two candidates on one issue in their own words, back to back, and hear the true candidate contrast before you cast a ballot in November 8th's general election.
And at 54 days away from Election Day, we compare the candidates in the governor's race on the issue of the border, what they have to say about it and what they plan to do. So it's Democrat Katie Hobbs, whose commercial regarding the border features a couple of Arizona sheriffs.
When it comes to the border, Katie Hobbs gets it.
As a border sheriff, let me tell you, Katie Hobbs is on our team. She's on the team of law enforcement.
Versus Republican Kari Lake, she speaks for herself in her border commercials.
I'm Kari Lake. As governor, I will issue a declaration of invasion, finish President Trump's wall, blow up the cartel's drug tunnels and surveillance.
KTAR senior news reporter Jim Cross joining us to break down the border issue. We flipped a coin, Jim, so let's hear from Katie Hobbs and what she has to say first.
Yeah, Jim, from Democrat Katie Hobbs' campaign website, she says we need to secure our border, prevent criminals and traffickers from entering the country, and end the chaos and lawlessness we've watched for decades, but offers no specific border security actions.
This is a failure of Washington. Arizona communities, our border communities, are bearing the brunt of that, and the governor of Arizona needs to focus on those border communities and the support and the resources that they need because of Washington's failures. And the governor needs to work with whoever it takes to get comprehensive immigration reform passed to finally solve this once and for all.
And Hobbs also told KTAR's Ghettos and Chance show she wants a tough but fair pathway to citizenship. Her Republican opponent, Kari Lake, calls the ongoing border crisis nothing less than a national security and humanitarian disaster, and that violent drug cartels control large areas of the border. Lake, from the Mike Broomhead show on KTAR, says it's a border invasion. We're in imminent danger.
Right now, we are the pipeline for the deadliest drug this country's ever seen, pouring into our country, killing our young people at a record rate. The number one cause of death for 18 to 45-year-olds, that's our future. That's our young people, is fentanyl poisoning. And we got to stop it here in Arizona. We need a bold, strong governor who will do that.
And she says she will finish President Trump's wall and deploy the National Guard at the border. Arizona voters will decide this governor's race, Election Day, November 8th.
You know, it's really interesting, Jim. As you said, it's on Katie Hobbs' website when she talks about the border. She doesn't really offer specific border security actions. In fact, I believe border security is only mentioned in one sentence on her page on the border on her website. She really wants the federal government involved and really wants the federal government to step up and pass a law doing immigration reform.
And this is something we've heard Republicans and Democrats call for years, for Washington, D.C. to step up and do something.
Yeah, and on the other side, Kari Lake, says there's a lot of things. There's a lot of actions she plans to take when it comes to the border. Of course, the knock on that she will hear from the Democrats is you have limited powers as a state official, as a governor, to deal with this international border. But, the Governor Ducey has done things like put those cargo containers on the border.
Indeed he has.
Yeah. So we'll continue to compare and contrast as we compare the candidates here on Arizona's Morning News. It's Arizona Votes 54 days away from Election Day, when we will decide who leads our state in the top 5 state offices, as well as the U.S. Senate, and whether or not that will flip to the control of the Republicans or stay in the hands of the Democrats, probably based on whether or not Mark Kelly retains his seat, the Democrat, facing off against Blake Masters. And by the way, we will have the candidates in that race coming up in Compare the Candidates, a segment in the future on the top issues. Several segments, because there's several top issues.